right, bet. Woo! Oh, can you hear in the atmosphere? Oh yes, it's the sound of the moment. Soak it in, deep inhale, long exhale. I am Papa Wolf for the Kung Fu Miola. Checking in with you once again. I'm so glad to be back with y'all Unfollowers and Wolfpack. I definitely appreciate those that have checked in. Appreciate the love, the support. It's a constant grind. We only going up from here though. We do all these things and necessarily stay aligned of our divine self. We may be wavered and we might necessarily be derived on our path to divination, to greatness, to our true essence, to our authentic selves. But rest assured, Unfollowing Wolfpack, stay on your particular path. Don't give up. Because with our experiences, that develops our character. All right? So yeah, happy Friday the 13th, everybody. There's been so much demonizing and negative propaganda that goes into a day like this, and I can understand why, because of the images, because of what's been put out in front of us. But understand there's a bunch of power that comes in this particular day, especially for the ones that are into these particular practices. You know, any form of divination, it's a lot of energy that comes with working with this energy of 13, and at the same time being aligned and understanding your true intentions and what you're doing it for. So with that being said, today I come to you because I'm in good spirits to necessarily go to my cards, go to Legba, to necessarily see what the hell is going on out here in this nation that we live in. So once again, thank you for checking in. Hopefully the messages that we receive are receptive, and that for the viewers, for anyone that's checking in, that y'all will be blessed tremendously tenfold for allowing yourself to be here in this present time and space with me. So let's get right into the meat and potatoes. We're doing a lot of talking, but the real reason why you here is to see what Papa had to say. So we come to the cards, necessarily trying to get a better understanding about the current status and this mentality that's being brewed or being projected out amongst us of survival mode. In this present time, what are the particular things that we should be looking for? How should we conduct ourselves? What are the things that are going to be important for us to know in this present time? How should we be? What should we be aware of? Where would our focus necessarily be directed towards or manipulated towards? So yeah, for those that are new to my page, definitely check in with me. Be putting more content out. More materials going to be coming out. Like I say, DVTENT, that's the brand, that's the motto right now. Well, that's not the motto, but that's the brand. And simply enough, reliving and relieving from generational, systematic, and present day traumas. How do we do that? We're going to bridge the gap between psychology and spirituality. I love it. So yes, but we come to you necessarily asking for that clearance, for that clarity, to understand exactly what is going on around us, and how do we prep ourselves in this present time to be prepared for any particular type of law that may be passed, anything that may affect us in this near future. What are the things that we should be looking for at this time? simple, like, because it's levels to this. It's levels to this, but like I said, I'm in good spirits. But if you're really interested in necessarily getting the service of Papa Wolf, definitely for sure hit me up. Let's get something popping. I do consulting. I'm getting the training needed at this time to necessarily be able to work in different arenas. But for say any particular type of questions that you may have, this may be for you. You might need to necessarily come in and get it. And I do it over the phone and I do it in person. I'm based out of Pensacola, home of the brave, but at the same time, depending on the need, we can do it over the phone. What's up? Okay. Looks a little better. Beautiful, beautiful. Okay. Okay, we can work with that. So similar enough, if anybody has been keeping up with what's going on currently, as in mass media, what the news channels put out on a day-to-day basis, we are seeing on a day-to-day basis, a daily basis, different things being implemented. And it doesn't just necessarily go as in a physical type of I guess a physical action. It's not necessarily physical. What also has been implemented or implanted into the general body is a sense of fear, because nobody really knows what the hell's going on. So out of fear of the unknown, it's causing a lot of people to be on haywire. Definitely a lot of precaution is being taken as we track necessarily the coronavirus and whatnot. But at the same time, this tactic of fear is being implemented to the people, which is something that's not necessarily new. This is something that has been going on from the beginning of this nation. The beginning of this nation, fear has always been a top tier factor into pretty much controlling the masses. But pretty much what we're going to be seeing, or something that we necessarily should be looking out, is martial law, locking or being in your home at nighttime. Now, to some it may seem like, okay, this is what's needed because we have this infectious virus that is airborne. But at the same time, these are tactics necessarily, and these are experiments that are taking place to see how this would necessarily how this would be effective in this country. So I would just say be aware of nighttime. Be aware of what's going on in nighttime. Anything in particular that may be coming up during the nighttime. Everybody plays a fool sometimes. Don't necessarily don't be heavy-footed. At this time, we should all be aware and try to ground ourselves necessarily. Do not delay. This is time to prepare yourself. During this time, we should definitely be trying to have a strategy just in case shit does hit the fan, per se. But at the same time, let's be grounded in ourselves. Let us not necessarily only rely off of what we're being told. Let's intuitively go back inside of ourselves, not necessarily for preparation, but also for oneness. Take this opportunity, depending on what your circumstances may be, if you're getting the time off, if you have to be at home with your children, take this time to do major reflection. Do not delay and do not waste this time. Similar enough to what we were talking about earlier, with the implication of fear amongst the general body. Don't get coiled up during this time in that particular type of fear. Understand that this was something that was it was an experiment, and similar enough, this whole country is an experiment in itself, because in the charts of obesity we exceed, and the free will it's a bunch of experiments taking place. But don't get coiled inside of your fear. Don't let your fear dictate necessarily how you want to operate and what your mentality is going to be like. Because like I say, if you become a victim of fear, you're at a low vibration. And similar enough to this fire that we have going behind me, we want to lift ourselves higher than the vibrations that are currently being put out at this time. I like that. Oh, be expecting more cloudy days on a physical realm. I don't necessarily know what this is about. We all know about chemtrails, but it seems like it's going to be a lot more cloudy days that are going to come. So the ones that are vitamin D deficient, this is the time to stock up on your medications needed, just in case we don't get the sunlight that we're going to need to strive during this time. Especially if we have any particular moves of quarantine or anything like that. It's going to be very important that you keep up with your sunlight, but at the same time there will be some kind of cloudiness about these next few weeks. It's a little on fire. All right. Just chill. Just put that on out. I'm sorry about that. Just want to make sure that I got everything right. Okay. Yeah. So just necessarily keep that in mind for those that may have some kind of deficiency and need the sunlight in order to operate, this would be the perfect time to necessarily go ahead and get yourself ready. I apologize about this. Let me make sure I'm still rolling. Oh, he's still rolling. Okay, cool. I'm going to move this over here to give me some more light. I'll put it down here. I apologize about this. We have some technical difficulties going on right now. I want to make sure I'm lit. All right, yeah, that's better. That's better. That's a whole lot better. All right, let's keep this thing rolling. Wow, we got a lot of major cards going on right now. Major cards for major times. Major cards for major times. And going back to this mass media and going back to these news outlets and going back to the television that we tune into on a regular basis, be very careful at this time about what messages are being put out and who is the messenger. Be careful about the messages being put out and who are the messenger. We're going to have to separate, and at the same time too, separate the messenger from the message. Be able to decipher. This is going to be a good time to be able to decipher. Use your third eye. Stop talking so much. Listen more. Listen. Listen. This is a vital time to be observant. Be observant. Stop talking. Start listening. There's gonna be a lot of shit that's gonna come out. Oh, I'm also repping the squad. Master Warren's own house of Kempo and Tai Chi, located here in the beautiful city of Pensacola. All right, let's keep this thing rolling. Be ready to, similar to like what they talk about this toilet paper, be ready to ensure that you're able to sustain off of the water that you have around you. Be ready to use that as a major resource, not only as something we drink, but also necessarily in our daily activities. We use water for toiletry, not toiletry, but using the bathroom. And so during this time, just make sure that y'all are resourceful with y'all water supply. Don't waste it if y'all don't have to. I know this kind of goes for children. If anyone with children, make sure that the water that's being put out is being used with a purpose. It's being used. It's just not necessarily going to be wasted. And two, as well, if you're a type to eat a lot of vegetables, fresh vegetables, instead of necessarily, when you clean your vegetables and your fruits, instead of just dumping that water out, reusing that water necessarily. If you have fruits and vegetables that you eat on a regular basis, use that same water. Baking soda always does magic. Now, I will say, after a certain amount of days, or if you can clean all your fruits and vegetables at one time, do that. But at the same time, try to be resourceful with your water. It's going to be very important. We can't waste it. I was in the store and this lady bought like 8 packs of bottled water. A little excessive, but you know, understand, we want to be prepped. We want to be prepared for what's to come. All right. This is beautiful, guys. I like this one. I don't even know which way to go with this one. I'm gonna go both ways. No, I'm not. I'm gonna go both ways. I'm just gonna give you the one. I myself am gonna have to take this one to heart as well. Be resourceful with your funds. Similar to the water, be resourceful with your funds at this time as well. Like I say, the stock market has crashed. Interest rates are lowering. You know, we're in a political year as well, so the economy may flash as better. But because we are only bystanders of our society, because we've only been indoctrinated by our society, we've had a sense of dependency. You know, we work for somebody else. You know, we eat from somebody else. You know, our electricity, our water, all of our resources are controlled. And so at this time, it's going to be important that for our funds, our physical funds that we necessarily try to maintain, have a better way of handling our cash, our influx of funds. It doesn't have to be monetary, similar to what we were just talking about the water. But at the same time, this card does definitely focus on funds. It focuses on making sure that we're not trying to be excessive in our spending. Now, every family has different circumstances. The bigger the family, the more money that's being spent. But also keep in mind that the emergency funds, those need to be there. And if there's always cash going out, but there's no money being saved up, it's not benefiting anyone. Saving accounts, people show up saving accounts. I mean, like, this stuff is simple, but some people just never hear this. So, savings account. If you can make a savings account, go ahead and do that. Nature is going to play its course. Nature's upset about this as well. That's why this is an airborne type of virus. That's why people are so accessible about getting this, because it is airborne. Air is a form of nature. Nature is going to play its course out. So regardless of how much that the testing, how much they want to do with this, is going to play its course out. So understand, this will come to an end. This will not last forever. This will not last forever. Stay cool, calm, and collected. Like I said, this is one of the things that we obviously all should know, but sometimes we have to reiterate just to make sure that as a collective, that if anything is implemented, that we have a calmness about ourselves. Because if you operate out of fear, operate out of any of these things that we talked about before, it's only going to cause you to make bad decisions during this time. Finances, water. So during this time, just ensure that you are being cool. Similar to this flame, at one time it was a blaze. It's starting to kindle back, but the kindling is still also good. Everything doesn't have to be intense. Everything doesn't have to be extravagant. A kindle brings light. So similar enough, reserve your energy. Reserve it. Don't be trying to exert so much energy at this time either. Kindle fire. Kindle fire. So it's a constant flame. Like the candle burning, constant flame. I'd rather have a constant flame than a forest fire, and then I myself get burned out. And also know that with all this going on, and because we are in a political year, this will shift. This will shift the focus of the general body as well. I'm not talking about it as a consciousness. It's going to literally shift the general body, the public, the mass, the sheep. It's gonna change up a lot of things that we necessarily we've got comfortable with. Things will be implemented. There will be mandate testing. I can foresee more surveillance taking place on a day-to-day basis of just people in general. You know what the hell I'm trying to say. Don't you laugh either. It's not funny. With technology, okay, you're going to see a lot of different apps. You're going to see a push for technology to monitor your immune system, which can be good, but at the same time, the technology is always tracking. So just be on the lookout for these things. But yeah, this is Papa Wolf Olokun Fumiola. Thank you for checking into the Survivalist reading. Something slight work, something simple, but I just wanted to give you something to go off of. And as we move forward individually, take this time to go within, to find your true purpose. Because a lot of us are living, but not truly living. Waking up every day and doing what we've been told to do. Or what we've been programmed to do. Seek and endeavor to think outside the box. Go past your fears and limitations and find possibilities, courage. It's Papa Wolf checking in, checking out. Thank you once again for checking in. Really do appreciate it. March forward, march on. Unfollowers and Wolfpack. All right, cool. Okay. How long was it? That was 30 minutes. Cool.